So the first question is for all. How have your fellowship mentors helped you, encouraged you, or pushed you in any ways?
I can start. I think having just my mentor is also a woman that is in my field that has open clinics and things like that. I think having somebody to just bounce ideas off of and just to have somebody that's maybe been through some of the things you've been through and this like the stressors that come along with it and just having somebody to talk to about these things has been probably one of the greatest things for me. It's not even from like giving me business ideas, it's really just being a supportive person that I can bounce ideas off, but that also understands the business aspect of my idea and what I want to accomplish. And it's been really great, to be honest, for me personally.
My mentors were actually Peter Strong and Mary Bordeaux. They're actually from Racing Magpie in Rapid City, South Dakota is actually where my mentors were. But we still connect with each other even after the fellowship. With looking at purchasing a building and everything, we've gone back and forth about different structures and their advice on how to, the legalities of it, because they had just bought in some properties, redone their gallery space. So it's just been invaluable, and really to have a native mentor who understands the process of community and what I was trying to achieve. So it was amazing and continues to be.
For me, my mentor is Betsy Roeder from the New York Mills Cultural Center, and they are doing something similar to what we're doing, but they're about, way farther down the road. So she's helped me kind of anticipate a few things. Hey, these are some issues we faced, and here's how we solved them, But one of the best things she's done for me is to challenge me to take care of myself. Guard against a burnout, take a day off, put some white space on your calendar. And sometimes you really have to be reminded that how important it is, because with many social enterprises, they're kind of all tied up in you and your personality and your dream. And if you don't take care of yourself, that whole enterprise can stumble as well. So that's the biggest thing that Betsy's done for me, is to tell me to look in the mirror and take care of that first. And learn the phrase, hey, that's a great idea. How are you going to lead that? Instead of me taking on everything that comes.
Our next question is, can we hear more about 20 hours per week working on business, not in business?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's sort of day-to-day operations. If you're already in business, you're dealing with customers, Chris is in the coffee house. She's, making the coffee, helping an artist set up for an exhibit, doing all the stuff that is just basically the business, right? Working on the business is that thought space that's really about the longevity, the structure, the planning, and carving out that space to get the structure to be solid, to be something that can grow in the ways you want it to grow, to really do that thought work. So Fardosa is launching this year, but she spent the last year really thinking about, there's no model out there for a culturally informed, culturally competent, trauma-informed, faith-based addiction counseling clinic that she can look at and be like, that's the model I want to use. Fardosa's had to spend time doing all that thought work of what is the model? How do I create the model that doesn't exist for something that I see a strong need for in my community, that central Minnesota needs, that all of Minnesota needs? How do I build something from scratch? And so that requires a lot of time and energy and thought work. And that's working on the business. Now she's in a place where she's got that locked in. She knows what kinds of therapeutic avenues she wants to follow in the business when she's in business, because she's done all that work on the business, right? So that's sort of the difference. And 20 hours a week, if you're open and on the ground, is quite a commitment of your time to say, yeah, I will carve this out to get it right, to make it be what I want it to be, rather than just chasing after the dollars, and saying yes to everything. One of the things that Chris and I talked about a lot was start being strategic and saying no and not yet, right? Because it's not going to help you if you say yes to everything and something doesn't really fit the mission. And so I think that's, one of the things that working on the business can do is help you start learning where the yeses are and where the nos are, or not yet, right? Because you want to have strategic growth. So yeah, that's a couple of examples, I would say.
I love it. And I really liked this question, particularly because it kind of relates to the Civic Mentorship Network pilot that 100 Rural Women is curating. What is the process for matching up with mentors? Somebody's concerned with their focus not like being too unique and not being seen or relatable to many other people.
So I started in August, and I have not done the matching process except for new matches for folks this year who wanted to have a little shift in their mentor. I will say that it's what I referenced earlier. Being in rural Minnesota, you're not necessarily going to find people doing exactly what you're doing. And so finding a mentor in that field can be challenging. We really lean into our partnerships, 100 Rural Women. We've got partnerships with other social enterprise organizations statewide. We have partners. It's not just the Initiative Foundation, it's Southwest Initiative Foundation, West Central Initiative, and Northwest Minnesota Foundation, all of whom have connections in their communities and help us identify people. So Chris is in the Swift region, but her mentor is in West Central. And so how do we connect those two people, if not for the relationships we have across our Minnesota Initiative Foundations? I don't know if you can hear my phone ringing. I think Zoom is probably filtering that out. But the other piece of that is really talking with each of the Initiators Fellows once they're selected, to really hone in on where they need the mentorship and where they see their project fitting within an industry. So you might have a very unique approach, a very unique idea, and it may not in and of itself be seen anywhere. Fardosa is a good example of that, but we can connect her to someone who has done the process of opening a clinic, because eventually she's got to go through licensing, and there's some processes and procedures and other kinds of things and considerations about all the elements of how the business is going to function that are important to take on board in connection with building this new model. And so having connections to people like that and where the business need is going to be is another piece of that. So it's really getting to know the newly selected Initiator Fellows and really tapping into our networks across the state to see if we can find a fit. And for some folks, it takes a little longer, but sometimes we have some real immediate ideas about who is a good partner for that particular person.
Awesome. Just a final statement to wrap up. Do you guys have any closing comments or any advice for anybody who would be interested in the fellowship? Can you explain a little bit more on like the selection process, maybe a little bit, just as we're wrapping up here?
I can talk about the selection process. The applications are due on June 15th by noon. It's open now. You can start the application process. At the time at which the application is submitted, it should have answers to all the questions in the application and also a short 3-minute video that you attach to the submission. And that's it. It's pretty straightforward and simple. There are instructions on creating that video, and those are available on the website as well. And I think Alexis had thankfully put a lot of that information into the chat before, and maybe you could do that again right here at the end. But that application process, once we have all our submissions on June 15th, those will be dispersed to the review teams in our different regional MIF partners. And we have an evaluation process of that initial application, from which we pick semifinalists. Semifinalists will be contacted to do an interview on Zoom, 30 minutes, and they'll also have to share 3 references and answer a few more questions about their business and their ventures in a secondary application. From that semifinalist round, we get that little bit more information and connection with our applicants, and we will choose 16 finalists to join us on October 24th in St. Cloud, Minnesota at the River's Edge Convention Center for Finalist Day, where they will do a pitch and have 2 rounds of interviews with our selection panel. And from those 16 finalists, we will select 8 new Initiator Fellows. So it's a competitive process, and it has a multi-stage selection process, but for those who make it to the final cut, it's a really important commitment and valuable experience. For those who make it through the process but don't make the cut, we've also heard feedback that just going through the process has really helped them clarify and refine their ideas. And we do, within each of our initiative foundations within the regions, look for ways to support finalists who aren't selected too. So be it an opportunity to connect to some of our other services or become loan clients. That's another process where we work with the finalists who aren't selected.
All right, I think that's all the time that we have for some Q&A questions. Teresa, do you want to start wrapping the meeting up?
Yeah, I'll just give an opportunity quick to Anne, Fardosa, and Chris to see, do you have any last thing you'd like to share before we move to close?
I just want to say, please feel free to give my contact information to any people, especially young women who are interested in the fellowship. I'd be happy to mentor them and help them feel comfortable with the application process as somebody who's recently gone through it.
Wonderful.
And I would say if you know anybody that has an idea, tell them to try, because I did it 2 days before the deadline. Actually, I think it was 1 day before the deadline. So you never know. If you have a great idea, or if you know anybody that has a great idea, just tell them to try, fill out the application, because you never know who sees not the importance, but like sees the value in your idea and who can potentially actually empower you and help you in the process. Because I never thought anybody would want to come on board with my idea, but never know.
I love it. How about you, Anne?
I just echo the same, that I just really encourage people to apply. That was the first and only video I've ever sent in for any kind of an application, and it was a bit nerve-wracking, and the whole process but it's definitely worth the effort. I mean, it's, like Christine had said, it's invaluable, like the experience and the access and the opportunity. So I would definitely encourage everyone to try.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, everybody, and really appreciate your time today. And as you could see on the Zoom today, we had people going in and out. We have crazy schedules. I've gotten emails from folks who are like, are you going to have this up on the website after? So please know all the resources will be up on our website. We will also have the video recording up on the website so folks can see it. And we will add links to the program and our presenters' contact information, which is so nice of you guys to offer that. So I just want to thank everybody for joining today. And we're just excited to share about this program. I wanted to share a couple things that are coming up with 100 Real Women. We do a Thursday morning connection every Thursday at 8:30. We just do an open networking called Connections, and it's a lot of fun. So please join us. We also are, there's an event this afternoon called True Tuesdays, where they're going to be featuring some amazing young people. So we'll pop that in the chat too. And just want to thank everybody. Please check out our programs. Our programs, as I said earlier, are all about lifting up and connecting women and figuring out how we can support each other better. And coming out of this webinar today, I learned a lot. I just really appreciate all the effort and commitment that you all are making. And please let us know. We have a survey that we're popping in the chat to find out who you'd like to hear from on webinars and what information is valuable to you. So please let us know. And again, thanks for joining today. And for those of you that are going to be listening in online, please let us know if you have any questions, and really appreciate your time. So thank you so much.